How's it going, everybody? MyCupOfTea here, back to the reaction video. It's time to return to the Every Pokemon Type Explained series from Lockstin and Gnoggin, or I guess, yeah, I was right. Yay. Now last time, which I think was about a month ago, sorry about that, we learned about every electric type explained, which was, very simple, straightforward electric type, bzzz. That's the sound electric makes, bzzz, which sounds like a bug, but it's not a bug. But today we're going to be learning about every psychic type Pokemon explained. Now, psychic type, I think, was the one that was always like iffy for me. Like to figure out, like, hey, what Pokemon type is that? Oh, it's psychic. And I'm like, what beats psychic? So psychic type gonna be interesting to see, like, what's actually psychic. And I know my boy, my favorite Pokemon, Mewtwo, is a psychic type Pokemon. So I want to see my goat in action. I mean, it's just talking about psychic type Pokemon. But yeah, I'm curious what type of, I guess, category is gonna have your psychic type Pokemons in. So let's get into it. Let's watch it.
Mysterious, mystical mysteries with cool cosmic control. These are mental matter manipulators. That's right.
Okay, alright, alliteration.
Now, why are each of the psychic type Pokemon the psychic type?
Yeah.
What are their origins, and which ones really have?
Why? This is a psychic type Pokemon? Yeah, it was Executor. Why is this psychic? I need to know about this.
No reasons for being psychic as far as their design goes, meaning they probably should not be psychic. Let's find out.
We're gonna have a lot of those, like psychic type Pokemon that shouldn't be psychic. We're gonna have a lot of those. I feel. But I wonder how many psychic type Pokemon are there.
So at first, going into the psychic type, my first train of thought was to figure out what sort of psychic type they use. For example, there's pyrokinesis, the ability to manipulate heat and fire with your mind. But in that case, there are like, what, 3 fire psychic Pokemon? Well, then there's also psychokinesis, the ability to move around objects with just the power of your mind. So
Mewtwo in there.
Almost all of the psychic type Pokemon.
That's
so
true.
Clearly, this is not the way to go about this analysis. Instead, let's just categorize the Pokemon by what their psychic powers originate from.
Okay.
Starting, of course, with one of the most obvious categories. Pokemon who are psychic type due to their insanely high intelligence. This is a common trope in media. Someone's brain is so smart and huge that they are capable of psychic abilities. From moving objects.
What's his name? AJ from Timmy Turner, I think, when he did he become evil or something like this? I don't remember. No, that was Sheen. That was Sheen, and Jimmy Neutron became evil once he got smart. Like super smart.
To mind reading, maybe even mind control. And in this category, we have Abra, Kadabra,
yeah, it had to be Abra.
Oranguru, Beldum, Matang, Metagross, Slowpoke, Slowbro, Slowking, Inkay, and Malamar. Alakazam and its previous evolutions
I know about Malamar, that made evil.
IQ over 5,000, which by the way is impossible. But anyway, this line is based on magicians, as well as psychic spoonbenders. The ability to bend your spoon with your mind is a classic means of displaying your mental
He just
powers.
has 2 spoons.
And being a monstrous mix of a goat and a fox is also fitting, as both have many ties to various magics. Another trope that Mega Alakazam falls for is the idea of an all-powerful psychic being having a weak and fragile body. The Dex mentions that it lost almost all of its muscle mass in return for more psychic power. The Metagross line are also hyper-intelligent, as they are perhaps literal supercomputers. In fact, Metagross is stated to have 4 brains even. The way these Pokemon evolve is interesting too. 2 Beldums combine and form a Matang, doubling their mental and physical power. Then 2 Matangs come together and form Metagross.
I
guess
simple.
That's why it
Makes
has
sense.
4 brains. And you would need some sort of psychic ability to have those 4 brains communicate as coordinated why it has mental and physical power. And you would need some sort of psychic ability to have those 4 brains communicate as coordinated as they are. Now, while Inkay isn't all that intelligent itself, it is able to communicate via emitted light, which is neat. But when it evolves into Malamar, it becomes hyper-intelligent. And evil, like a Power Ranger supervillain with all of its evil intentions.
I know that man evil.
Similarly to plenty of villains in this trope, it also has the most compelling hypnotic powers of any Pokemon, granting it some crazy good mind control. Also, the squid inspiration may have played a part here, as both squid and octopus are very intelligent for sea creatures, just like Oranguru, minus the part about it being a sea creature. Orangurus are very intelligent animals,
I have never seen this
like
before in my life.
And this one
is
a guru,
orangutan based off of
master teacher.
A
Its
guru
high
orangutan,
intellect
that
makes
makes
it
so
smart
much
enough
sense.
to throw Pokeballs and even give commands to Pokemon.
What did you just say to me? Hold on, go back. What can it do?
Its high intellect makes it smart enough to throw Pokeballs and even give commands to Pokemon too.
Oh,
it thinks it's people. And notably, its Dex entry states that it occasionally goes to the beaches to match its wits with Slowking. Slowking and its
Slowking's a
line
genius
are
as
also
well.
very intelligent. It is said to research various things to solve the mysteries of the world, and interestingly, that being bitten by its odd-looking shoulder in the head unlocks its superintelligence through toxins. But what about its previous evolutions then? Well, this is a bit of a theory, and you can find more details about it by clicking right here, or link in the description, but Slowbro's Dex mentions that when the shoulder bites down, it becomes inspired. The theory says that both Slowpoke and Slowbro are also super intelligent, beyond anything you can even comprehend. Even beyond anything they can comprehend. They are unable to control their minds, and thus are always spaced out, perhaps through some sort of astral projection. But the pain from the bite in the tail, or the constant pain of a bite to the brain, makes it more alert and back down to earth. Again, more details here. There's even an animated bit. It's great. So
they're just so smart. They can't even get, like the previous two evolution, not the Slow King. It's like they're so smart they can't even comprehend what they're thinking of, because there's too much knowledge and information. They can't deal with it. That's why they're always zoned out, because they're trying to absorb all the information. But thanks to this final form with the shell attacking his brain, releasing the toxics, able to comprehend it all. I see, we're just mere mortals. We can't understand why Slow King or Slowbro is so smart. Genius!
When it comes to hyper-intelligence, that's about it. Now, other Psychic-type Pokemon are very smart and highly intelligent as well, but not nearly as much as these ones. So, for the next category, we're going to look at Pokemon who are Psychic-type due to their affinity with space. The cosmic aura, astral projection, is another psychic power after all. And plus, there is the trope of alien life being more advanced in terms of their mental powers. And the Pokemon move Cosmic Power is psychic type after all. Here in this category we have LGM, BEM, Starmie, Deoxys, Lunatone, Solrock, Cosmion, Solgaleo, Lunala, and Necrozma. LGM and BEM communicate with flashing lights on their bodies, which is another alien trope. And they are able to manipulate others' memories with their psychic powers. Plus, they really do just look like aliens, don't they?
Aliens,
their names are even spellings of the abbreviations LGM, meaning Little Green Men, and BEM, or Bug-Eyed Monster, both referring to classic mid-20th century sci-fi movies. Starmie may appear to just be a starfish, but Game Freak took it a step further and states that it may have actually come from the stars. It's an invader from outer space, and thus uses its jewel to amplify its alien mind powers. It is also able to emit enigmatic signals and radio waves, both also associated with aliens. Solrock and Lunatone are fairly simple. They are both the meteorite Pokemon, and they are rumored to come from the sun and the moon respectively. Though I'm not so sure about Solrock coming from the sun, but they do absorb the light from their respective heavenly body and use it to power their cosmic psychic abilities. And as for Deoxys, there is no doubt about it, it's an alien.
That butter is definitely an alien.
A silicon-based life form, as the dex states that the jewel appears to be its brain. Plus, that would explain all of its weird form changes that it can do, and its bodily regeneration abilities. Again, these are all tropes of aliens. Necrozma may be another silicon-based life form, as it appears to be made entirely of crystal or obsidian. It absorbs light and uses it to attack like a laser gun. Plus, it's reminiscent of the Ultra Beasts, and theorized to be the first Ultra Beast to land on Earth forever ago. It goes from world to world, absorbing their light source.
Not good lore, not good lore. I don't like that lore anymore.
A common plot to sci-fi movies regarding alien invasions. It basically is the personification of a star, or even a supernova in its ultra form. And it may also be a personification of black dwarf stars, or black holes, or even neutron stars. Either way, it's all about that dark cosmic energy granting it its various light and psychic-based abilities.
Who was flickering the lights?
It's Necrozma.
Welcome, Nick.
Nosferatu. Yeah, Psychic type. You're already going in an interesting direction compared to last videos we saw from the every Pokemon type explained. I thought Mewtwo would be like in the high IQ category, but I guess he's not that smart compared to them savages, them Harvard graduates over there in that category. I guess he's not that far compared to them. And we're back with Nosferatu, or I already.
Necrozma. And the same goes for Cosmog and its evolution line. Its gaseous body is like that of a nebula, buildups of gas and dust in space. It then evolves into Cosmion and is dubbed the Cocoon of the Stars.
Okay, ooh, I like that name, Cocoon of the Stars.
It may also be based on the world egg, or golden fetus from various mythologies and alchemy, symbolizing new beginnings on a global scale. It can then evolve into either Solgaleo or Lunala based.
It evolves into those two? Pokemon? Wow, okay.
On its sex.
Cocoon
One
right there.
the emissary of the sun, the other the emissary of the moon. Cosmic entities with insane amounts of mysticism surrounding them. They also each have third eyes, a common depiction of those with future sight, or who can astral project, or even just have psychic powers at all. Lunala has elements from its Papalotl, an Aztec goddess depicted as a skeletal star demon with bat wings. And being a star demon, she had plenty of odd powers that one could very easily view as being psychic.
I like the music in the
Solgaleo
background
then
for
is
this.
a lion. Yep. But it's based on the alchemic lion eating the sun. Not much more to add to its psychic typing beyond its cosmic powers. But isn't this alchemic lion neat? Yeah, it's way cool. Did you know that you can support this channel by buying this Solgaleo as the alchemic lion t-shirt? Awesome! Links down below. Plug, plug, plug. And for even more details on their inspirations involving alchemy, I have this video here about Solgaleo and this one about Lunala. Check them out. And with those shameless plugs out of the way, we can move on to the next category. Pokemon whose psychic abilities lie in the ancient mystical powers of the ancient mystics. There are so many conspiracy theories regarding things like this. The disappearance of Atlantis, the Babylon Gardens, how did Egypt build those pyramids? What about the Mayans and Aztec stuff? Magic or ancient knowledge on the spiritual powers of the mind have been lost.
Okay, I've seen it's quite a bit.
Remain today, I swear it. And these are Pokemon based on those mysterious
Zatu, right? That bird
beings
one,
with
green
psychic powers infused into their core.
Has
In
to
this
be on
category, we have Baltoy, Claydol, Sigilif, Natu, Zatu, Oricorio in the Pa'u style, Delphox, Latios, Latios,
No,
Solosis,
those two demons.
Erosion, and Reuniclus.
Those two
Baltoy
Latios
and
and Latios
Claydol
demons.
may be the most obvious of the bunch. They were discovered in ancient ruins from 20,000 years ago and are depicted in primitive wall paintings. They are said to have been man-made by ancient people who knew how to breathe life into them via psychic powers or some sort of mysterious.
Yeah, no, I will never forget I was playing Pokemon with my friend Nuzlocke when I saw this Pokemon for the first time. Cause I saw it flying, and I think it did a psychic move to me, so I'm thinking, oh, okay, so it's a flying psychic monster. Bet. I had my electric Pokemon, I forgot what it was called, what the Pokemon was, but it was like an electric doll looking thing. I shocked it, right? It did Thunder Strike, did Thunder, whatever I did to it. It said, no effect, or no effect at all, whatever, so it's immune. I'm like, huh? What do you mean? You're flying in the air. My friend said, yeah, nah, it levitates. It's actually a ground psychic Pokemon. I was like, what do you mean? What? Why is that ground Pokemon levitating? And ever since, I just had a beef with Baltoy.
People who knew how to breathe life into them via psychic powers or some sort of mysterious ray. They are based on very mysterious statues found in Japan that were apparently made in prehistoric Japan during the Jomon period, which stretches back to 14,000 BC. And there is a lot of pseudo-archaeology surrounding them, basically meaning mystical science. Some believe souls could be trapped in these and sent to other worlds, and by that, they mean they were from other worlds, filled with souls and sent to Earth, either by aliens or interdimensional spirit beings. Hence the psychic type. Sigilif are the guardians of various ancient ruins, protecting them from invaders for eons. Based on their odd looks, they may also be man-made by ancient humans. A sigil is a man-made painted symbol with magic powers, after all. Their shape is that of the Nazca lines, ancient South American lines dug into the ground that from a bird's eye view form the shapes of various animals and a person. There is a lot of mystery surrounding these lines and their purpose. Nobody in ancient times would have been able to see them properly without some sort of flight, leading to many conspiracy theories about aliens or ancient spirit-powered tech granting them flight, or even just the ability to draw these lines in the first place. Perhaps even sending your mind's eye physically into the air to view these would be possible. Zatu has the enigmatic power of foreseeing the future. No one knows exactly how well it does it, but it is said that one eye sees the future while the other sees the past, and it spends its time meditating while staring directly into the sun. This is called sun gazing, a form of meditation by the ancient Aztec and Mayan peoples. They believe this would grant them visions and power.
Yeah, I don't sound healthy at all.
It and Natu resemble totems, particularly of the Americas. Totems were a major part of the religions and myths of
they do look like a
peoples all
totem.
over the world, and they also appear to be based on Kachina dolls, which
Wow,
also played a part.
wow,
Now,
you know what?
while these days hula dancing is more just for entertainment, there was once a time where it was more ceremonial and prayer-related.
YouTube is pictures, don't worry about it, it's the paintings.
For various things. This is where Oricorio's Pa'u style comes in. A bird dancing like a hula dancer, and its dex entry states that its dance is meditative and increases its psychic energy. Del Fox is based on a witch or a wizard, hence the magic wand it uses to cast Fireball with its pyrokinesis abilities.
Right.
While not particularly
It better be fire, too.
witches and wizards were a big deal in the Middle Ages. In Japan, witches were said to inherit their powers from fox yokai, kitsunes. Del Fox is also able to prophesy about the future, and that, along with its name, points us to the Delphic oracles of ancient Greece, who were said to receive visions of the future from the gods. Latias and Latios can sense the emotions of people and Pokemon and communicate via telepathy.
Adios, adios.
Considering that they can fly despite not actually flapping their wings and they just kind of levitate and they're like jets but not birds. Clearly they're using their psychic powers to fly. But what are they based on?
I guess so.
Well, that's a tough one, because they are quite the unique Pokemon. The closest thing would be Anthroplanes, I suppose. But what gets really interesting is their ancient inspiration regarding what they do as opposed to what they look like. The Aeons from Gnosticism or Gnostic alchemy are similar in aspect, and that would explain their category as the Eon Pokemon in the Pokedex. Long story short, Aeons were spiritual or spiritually empowered beings in pairs, a male and a female, that were emanated from God, thus have powerful spiritual and psychic powers.
Whoa,
and the Reuniclus line are
ain't no way Game Freak thinking that far ahead, or Game Freak, yeah, they made them, right? Ain't no way they thought that far ahead with that. That's crazy. Wow, when it comes to psychic Pokemon, they in their bag with like the inspirations or like how they making these designs and whatnot.
On cells going through cell division or possibly an embryo, their psychic power amplifies as they develop multiple brains via evolution. Reuniclus may also pull from the idea of the homunculus from Middle Age alchemy. The idea was that inside each sperm there is a fully grown tiny person, rich with divine spiritual ability, the power of creation and life. And when combined with an egg, it forms the embryo and then a fetus and all that fun stuff. Birds and the bees. This points to the very early embryo look this line has. And that rich divine ability, along with its multiple brains, makes this line psychic type. And speaking of the divine, clearly high spiritual beings and powerful deities would have powerful psychic powers. Or at least a lot of them would. Arceus learns plenty of psychic type moves after all, and I'm sure if not for its gameplay gimmick, it would be psychic type 2 mainly. But plenty other high spiritual beings in Pokemon are psychic types, such as Mew, Mewtwo, other high. And I'm sure if not for its gameplay gimmick,
I heard my boy Mewtwo in there.
Type 2 mainly. But plenty other high spiritual beings in Pokemon are psychic type, such as
high spiritual beings, got it.
Uxie, Mesprit, Azelf, Cresselia, Lugia, Tapu Lele, and Unknown. Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf were some of
all legendary Pokemon besides Unknown.
Cresselia, Lugia, Tapu Lele, and Unknown. Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf were some of Arceus' first creations, and with them, humans gained 3 abilities: knowledge, emotion, and willpower, all mental abilities. Considering that these 3 Pokemon reign over and created them, their psychic typing.
Oh, they created all these 3?
Mew is also among Arceus' first creations, and it is the ancestor to all Pokemon on Earth.
Oh, so this is like what Arceus created. This is that category. Okay. Wow.
Save a few. Thus, it looking like an embryo of a generic vertebrae makes sense. It's capable of flying through space and turning invisible thanks to its immense psychic power. And it seems that it has this power simply because of its heavenly origin. Mewtwo, then, is just the same. After all, it's just humans' attempt at cloning Mew. Thus, it's psychic type because Mew is psychic type. Unknown are especially interesting, as they may have existed before even Arceus, or perhaps they are an extended part of Arceus.
Oh, alright, new lore drop for Unknown. Whoa, what are you talking about, buddy? hey, Lockstin, Gnoggin. What are you talking about here? Existed before Arceus? Wait, come back. Come back to it. Let's go back a little bit.
Because Mew is
what you mean by that?
Unknown are especially interesting, as they may have existed before even Arceus, or perhaps they are an extended part of Arceus. They hold the fabric of reality together and can change it. These are powers reserved for only the highest of gods, after all.
That's
Though
what unknowns are?
individually they are helpless, as a single letter tells no tale, but in mass quantities they are ever important. Eternal, using their psychic powers to hold together our dimension.
Nah.
Then there is Tapu Lele.
You can't just segue to just top. After that, out of nowhere drop from unknown. Wow, they're that like powerful. They can be together. I thought it was just like a glitch in the Pokemon thing, because I think it was like the original Pokemon. I could be wrong about this. I think it was like 150 Pokemon, but then 151 was unknown or something like that. I don't know the history behind that, or if I'm saying the right things or not, but I thought unknown was like an accident, like you messed up or something like that. If that's true, dang.
Their psychic powers
if this is actually true for unknowns, dang.
And then there is Tapu Lele. Each of the Tapus are based on one of the 4 main Hawaiian deities, and Tapu Lele is based on the highest of them, Kane. The great creator. And to have such immense creation power, you must be psychic. Which is a similar reasoning for Lugia,
Psychic sounds like the strongest
creation part. Lugia is the guardian of the sea and the ocean currents, yet it isn't water type, but psychic instead?
Yeah,
Curiously though, it only learns 3 psychic moves and 2 water moves,
yeah,
but it
why
has
is it psychic?
so much more to do with water aesthetically and with the lore. Some have said it's based on Ryujin, the dragon god of the sea in Japanese mythology, though it doesn't look like that at all. But at least with that origin, it's a god of some sort. So having psychic powers works well. I don't know really though, it's kind of a weak reason, but
That is
okay,
a weak reason.
it's fine. If it was water type, it'd clearly be the best legendary to have back in Gen 2, because the other one is Ho-Oh and it's fire type. That'll just not be fair. And then the Gen 3 legendaries happened, and apparently Game Freak doesn't actually care about.
Oh, we'll learn about Game Freak later. Yeah, Lugia is psychic type. Yeah, but he just said he only knows like 3 psychic moves to learn. Game Freak, why? I thought water would be no type. Like water for Lugia would be a no-brainer right there. Curious. All right, go back a little bit. And we're back.
That'd not be fair. And then the Gen 3 legendaries happened, and apparently Game Freak doesn't actually care about that. Cresselia, though, has a much better reason. It represents the crescent moon and grants people good dreams. Dream powers of any sorts is certainly a form of psychic ability. Which brings us to the next category. Pokemon who are psychic as they are based on lesser spirits, or yokai, or just are psychic-esque beings with their abilities. I don't know. Not the grandiose, all-high beings we've been dealing with, but lesser spirits. And now's a good time to make another distinction. Most Pokemon based on yokai or spirits are ghost type. But in this case, rather than making just a bunch of more ghosts, Game Freak took the abilities from yokai and applied them to regular animals, making them psychic type. Pokemon in this category are Bronzor, Bronzong, Smoochum, Jinx, Chingling, Chineko,
I wouldn't know about Jinx. I want to know about Jinx.
Meowstic, Espeon, and Hoopa. And since we just ended the last category with a dreamy Pokemon, let's look at Munna and Musharna first. Both of these Pokemon power their psychic powers by eating dreams, which in itself is a psychic ability. It's essentially reading the minds of sleeping people and Pokemon and sucking up the mental energy of dream generation for themselves. Rude! Also, they may be based on essential oil diffusers. Little tools that, and this is a little bit into pseudoscience, are said to grant you good dreams if you turn them on while you sleep. And
that's smart if that's what it's based off, but that's smart if they make that.
That's
a good connection right there.
Are said to grant you good dreams if you turn them on while you sleep. And notice how both Munna and Musharna look kind of like Drowsy, and Drowsy does the exact same thing, minus the oil diffusing part. But they're all dream eaters. Game Freak. Get creative, come on. Well, it's because all of them are based on the tapir. Drowsy mainly. It's the little snoot thing. In Japanese mythology, there's this yokai dream eater named Baku. And Baku is also the Japanese word for tapir. So the connection was easy. 3 dream-eating tapirs.
Easy.
And then Hypno also eats dreams, but it's a goblin. It's not a tapir anymore. Also, just in case you don't know, Hypno uses hypnosis, which is a psychic thing.
So it gotta be a fighting type Pokemon, then I have to use that context clues right there. Of course, Knoggin's a fighting type.
Just gotta clear that up. Not a lot of people understand that. Jinx
Really?
is based on the Yama
That was
Uba,
obvious.
a female ice yokai described as having white blonde hair, a red tattered komodo, large lips, and dark-colored skin. That's pretty obvious. And Yama Uba cares for a child spirit named Kintaro, which has pink skin. Well, that was easy. And on top of the ice abilities of said yokai,
I I just know that when, you know, it came out in America, yeah, if you saw this right here, some people were thinking it's more of a, you know, issue. I never saw it that way as a kid, but I can see why they would think that, because, like, what? But, yeah, I think they changed it, right? Made her blue at one point, which honestly felt way worse. No, I think they made her, like, fully black, I think. That was the issue. I think they made her fully black, right? Hold on, real quick. This is unprecedented, but yeah, this was the problem. Yeah, they made her, like, her skin, like, fully black. Yeah, this was the problem. Cause purple, I'm like, I don't think, cause I was trying to think about it, I was like, I don't think purple is that big of an issue. But okay, yeah, they made her, like, you know, fully black, like the crayon black, with the purple lips, big lips too. Not purple, but the big lips. It got people off to, it made people feel a little bit uncomfortable, like, hey, why you doing this? That I can understand. I can completely understand that. That's why they changed the purple, which I think was a way better thing. Now, I know Japan probably wasn't, you know, even thinking about it like that, but yeah. Good call switching up, because I don't know how it would go nowadays.
Skin, that's pretty
and we're
obvious.
Back. Sorry about that.
Yama-uba cares for a child spirit named Kintaro, which has pink skin. Well, that was easy. And on top of the ice abilities of said yokai, she is also said to be able to cause illusions, which could be seen as a ghostly ability, but you can create illusions in other ways than just having ghost powers, such as manipulating someone's mind with psychic powers to believe that they are seeing something that isn't there. Chingling and Chimeko are based on the bells and chimes around Shinto temples and other such buildings.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
The wind chimes Chimekos are said to be able to predict the future, specifically things like natural disasters, and they are also able to ward off evil spirits. And you can't exactly ward off an evil spirit without knowing that it's there, and those with psychic abilities are said to be able to detect spirits. Other inanimate objects, Bronzor and Bronzong, are based not on a specific spirit or yokai, but on a similarly mythical Japanese tale of a woman who did not want to give up her bronze mirror to be melted down and made into a bell. This led to her killing herself. Drastic. And it was said that whoever could strike the bell hard enough to break it would become rich. So, that doesn't really explain anything.
It doesn't.
It's a good origin story. Doesn't really explain the psychic type at all. Good job, origin story. While that tale does better explain its steel type.
Sounds like it should be Ghost Steel if it was like that story.
These Pokemon in the steel type video because I'm a dingus. Other aspects of this Pokemon do point to its psychic ability. First of all, it levitates, and its face and shape and color resembles the Aztec god Tlaloc, who was a rain deity. This is notable because Bronzong is said to open portals which causes rain to fall. So it's some sort of spirit
Didn't know that until now, thank you.
Thus, psychic type. And speaking of portals, Hoopa. This guy opens portals with its rings and travels across the universe. It's also a trickster, using its psychic powers to get into all sorts of mischief. It's based on djinns, and has various design elements from demons, which points to all of its typings. Bound is Psychic Ghost, and Unbound is Psychic Dark. Esper, Meowstic, and Espeon, no relation, are Psychic Cats. ESP in Esper and Espeon stands for Extrasensory Perception, which is basically the scientific term for being psychic. And this is, in my opinion, the funnest fact in this video. Just like these Pokemon, the yokai Nekomata is a cat that stands on its hind legs and sometimes wears handkerchiefs on their heads. Like Meowstic. These yokai are said to start out as ordinary cats who live many, many years until eventually its tail splits into lengthwise and it gains supernatural psychic powers. Similarly, Meowstic has two tails and Espeon's tail has a split on the end. And now we reach the final category before we reach the not psychic ones. This category are the classically psychic Pokemon. Pokemon based on actual psychics or psychic aspects. A few previous Pokemon would fit here too, like the Abra line and Hypno, but they fit into those other categories better. We start with the Meditators, Meditite, Medicham, and Darmanitan in Zen mode. While normally a physically powerful orangutan, when weakened it turns its body into stone and meditates to fight mentally with psychic power. It's based on Daruma dolls, and the meditation style of Bodhidharma. Meditite and Medicham are based on the concepts of Central Asian monks. They highly train both the spirit, body, and mind.
Monks are strong.
Monks are strong, and eventually started reaching the Middle East. It also has aspects from belly dancers because same region, I guess? That's more so a fighting type thing. Gothita, Gothorita, and Gothitelle are based on goth girls.
Are goth girls psychic? I thought they'd be like, you know, more like either dark or ghostly type. But you know what? Hey, let's go goth girls.
Gothita, Gothorita, and
let's go goth girls.
are based on goth girls, but not the ones who are in it for just the looks. The very nice looks. Rather, the ones who are super into the occult.
Oh,
when they are
those
young,
ones.
They use their psychic powers to see things that only they can see.
That makes sense. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I was definitely thinking about the first goth one, but the goth girls are into the oculus stuff. I feel like that'd be ghost still too, right? No? We'll see. Let's keep it going. And we're back.
Whatever that means. They then start looking to the stars and use float stones to mark their positions. They also take over the minds of sleeping children to pretend they have friends. Then, as adults, they get way into horoscopes and astrology. They can use their psychic powers to see stars that are significantly further than the ones we can see, and they use those to help them predict the future. The Pokedex also points out that it can see the future moment when it's trained.
Sorry, is astrology what I'm thinking of? Is that the one with the constellations No, astronomy is the stars. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm wrong. Alright, look at that. I was right, yeah. Astrology is what, you know, the constellations, you know, with the signs and all that. Astronomy is actual studying the stars or space or something like that.
To help them predict the
I had to make sure I didn't get mixed up.
Also points out that it can see the future moment when its trainer dies, and then it cries in sadness.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Goths. Am I right? Moving on to the opposite
And
the pop star, Meloetta, is mainly just a singer. But she has a few psychic powers as well, and can use them along with her songs to control people's emotions, which, really, music can kind of do by itself, to a point. But I guess being psychic exemplifies that.
I guess
After all, according to the Dex, its melodies are sung with a special vocalization method that can control the feelings of those who hear it. And interestingly, binaural beats and alpha waves and such are specific wavelengths of sound that are said to be able to affect your brain in various ways, such as making it easier to remember things or to lighten your mood. So she may be a reference to that. Mime Jr. and Mr. Mime are just
not Mr. Mime,
which aren't super psychic or anything like that. But the idea here is that this Pokemon does the whole mime thing with the invisible wall, but it has psychic powers, so it can make the wall actually be there. And those last few were kind of weak, admittedly, I think. I don't know. But they bring us to our final category.
The golf one probably
the Pokemon that do not have the best reasons for being psychic.
Yeah, let me see why wobbuffet, this blue punching bag devil is on here. Let me see why he's on here. I mean, he's on here because of Jirachi. Interesting. I thought it'd be a psychic type for a reason.
There's no real origin reason. They are more so just psychic for the sake of adding more psychic type Pokemon. Or, in the case of Jirachi, Celebi, and Victini, it's just a matter of timing. Before the fairy type was introduced, psychic was the big type for legendaries to be.
Makes sense.
And the only reason these Pokemon aren't fairy is because the fairy type didn't exist when they were made. Celebi is literally the onion fairy Pokemon that rules over nature, which is a very fairy thing. But it also has time powers, so I guess psychic is still okay. But fairy would fit better. Jirachi is also magical and can grant wishes. Very fairy-esque, like fairy tales. And Victini just looks like a fairy, okay? A lot more than Granbull. But as for non-fairy
Granbull's a fairy?
Don't have the best reasons for being psychic type,
hilarious.
Well, take Execute and Executor, for example.
I was about to say, yeah, the eggs. Why and the blue moon are these psychic types? I never understood it in the games. I thought that should just be normal, maybe grass for the evolution form, but...
The OG non-Alolan variant, the oddball that it is. While based on a coconut tree, it's also based on the Jimenju, a mythical tree said to grow smiling human heads as fruit.
Oh no.
Odd. So odd.
Oh no.
And as far as origins go, that's it. Doesn't really point to it being psychic type at all. They do utilize their psychic ability though. All the heads can easily communicate with each other that way.
That's
Same
cool.
with Execute, the little tree seeds.
Rocks,
Kirlia, and Gardevoir are ballet dancers, as well as Onisama Ninyu, thin paper dolls with large round heads. And Gallade is a prince with a Corinthian helmet. Now, nothing in those origins really point to them needing to be psychic type. Save a few examples of those dolls getting possessed, I suppose, but that's more of a ghostly thing than anything. And then again, this particular line of Pokemon are very original Pokemon. so they can be whatever, I suppose. Gardevoir specifically has some crazy psychic powers, and it's
Yeah,
able
she
to
can create
create
a
small
small
black
hole,
holes
black
by
hole.
compressing space with its mind. So clearly psychic type, but doesn't really have a reason to be in its origins. Bruxish is a reef triggerfish,
What is that?
also known as the Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua.
No, the what? Sorry, I was distracted by the fish, and then I saw the name, and he was saying the name. It caught me all off guard. What is that piranha-looking fish?
Mind.
It's not piranha,
So
but...
clearly psychic type, but doesn't really have a reason to be in its origins. Bruxish is a reef triggerfish,
Bruxish?
also known as the Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua.
No one's remembering that.
Lives in the reefs of
No one's
Hawaii.
gonna remember that
its
name.
coloring is quite psychedelic, but other than that, there's no real reason for it to be psychic type. Well, you just look at psychedelic colors and you immediately think, oh, psychic type fish.
I do.
Yeah!
Yep.
And when it comes to Alolan Raichu, the official website's description states, even Pokemon researchers don't know why Raichu's form changed in the Alola region. The people of Alola seem unconcerned by the question. Their guess? Maybe it ate too many sweet and fluffy round pancakes.
Became a psychic type from that? Alright.
I'll just leave it at that. I assume it's psychic type just so that I can float around on its tail and be like that surfing Pikachu from that one episode. Girafarig, interestingly, as we learned in the Gold and Silver beta, was originally going to evolve from twin ghosts and be dark normal type.
Oh, that would
but
be
ultimately,
cool.
they removed this first stage,
Oh.
and they removed the second head being a whole other giraffe. Also, they changed
Oh.
its dark typing into psychic.
That's
But
less cool.
Why psychic? Do giraffes have anything inherently psychical about them?
Yeah, they're next.
No.
It's too long.
But
That's not
interestingly,
normal.
there's somewhat a good reason for it to be psychic type. I just didn't want to give Girafarig its own category of it's psychic type because of a pun. Much like
Really?
how Girafarig's name in English is a palindrome, meaning it's read the same backwards as it is forwards, its Japanese name is
smart.
Kirinriki, which when written out in Japanese looks like this. Again, a palindrome. And apparently this palindrome directly
Not necessarily, because I feel like, I mean, maybe it's different in Japan, you just move it backwards, but not really.
translates into giraffe telekinesis.
Oh, okay. Clever.
No. I love puns. But outside of wordplay, there's no need for this giraffe to be psychic type. Hence why it originally was not, I suppose. Stinking giraffe telekinesis is a palindrome in Japanese. There's a fun fact for you. Spoink and Grumpig are also just sort of pigs
There, yeah, there's pig,
with
right?
psychic powers. They use pearls as magic orbs, which are common tools used by wizards, and being pearls may be a reference to the Bible passage turned common saying
guess.
found at Matthew 7:6. Neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you. The pearls in the passage represent wisdom given to an audience who would not appreciate the teachings. So these pearls of wisdom may be granting these pigs psychic powers?
I ain't giving them that.
I guess.
No, I'm not giving them that.
Kind of
Nope.
a stretch though. But
That's
it's
a super
certainly
stretch.
a better reason than Woobat and Swoobat, who
Woobat?
have no reason
Is
for
a
being
psychic?
psychic type. Almost at all. They learn plenty of psychic moves, like Heart Stamp, which is a move made specifically for this Pokemon, though other Pokemon can learn it now too. And this move
Pikachu?
was made psychic type for
Pikachu can't.
some reason? How the move is performed is the Pokemon will act all cute, making the opponent less wary, and then they come in and just stamp it. It causes flinching.
Give me
But
your
I mean,
heart.
like, the move Attract is basically soft-core mind control. And it's just normal
Softcore
type.
mind
The closest
control
reason I
is
can
a
come up with
crazy
is
thing to say about a move.
maybe love is just a very powerful magic. Maybe it's the whole thing about bats using supersonic waves to communicate and see in complete darkness, and that's kinda similar to psychic abilities. But still, very weak reasonings. These Pokemon should not be psychic type,
I
other
agree.
than to have more psychic type Pokemon, I guess. And lastly, why not and wobbuffet?
Here we go. The ruiners of all Nuzlocke runs. The landmine, the destroyer of worlds himself, Wobbuffet. Look at him. Ah! He has already came to be a problem. This blue demon has no reason being a psychic type. This blue 50-50 demon, where it's like, you better hope the counter it does is not the move. You better hope it's not a physical move counter if you use a physical attack, or a magical counter if you do a magical attack. You better pray. And then he has Destiny Bomb too, because why not? Why not? Why not? What's the fourth one? Protect or something? I don't even know. It doesn't matter.
Now, their whole gimmick is that they can only learn 4 moves.
Yeah.
These 4.
Oh, Safeguard was it.
Only one of them is psychic type. And if you were to describe Wobbuffet to me, and I had no prior knowledge about it, you'd say that it's like a punching bag Pokemon that can only counterattack because when you hit it, it bounces back harder. To me, that sounds like it's either fighting or normal type.
Right?
Normal especially. Well, it's also based on the Okigari Koboshi, a Japanese doll that when pushed over will get back up. It's a good luck charm that symbolizes perseverance. Alright. Yeah, alright. Well, maybe it's psychic type because that one psychic move it has, Mirror Coat, is just like very psychic inspired. You'd have to be psychic type to use it at all. Well, no, because there are 16 Pokemon that learn it, and only 3 of them are psychic type.
Yep.
And 2 of the 3 are why not in Wobbuffet? Is it a game balancing thing?
I don't think it's a game balancing thing either, because that doesn't seem really game balancing to have a move that just basically insta-kill you if your previous move does not kill it before the counter goes off. That sounds like the opposite of a balance, if you ask me. What is this station? What am I looking at here? Unmute. Art of, oh my god. Oh, wait, I'm actually intrigued by how terrifying this looks. All in your head. You took my head. You took my brain. Oh, no. What? What? Why would you give me this? What? Why would you two give me that ad? I don't... Why not? Because this is why not in Wobbuffet. Why? Yeah, exactly. Let's play. Let's keep it going. What the heck?
Maybe so that it has more weaknesses than if it were a normal type? But do those weaknesses make sense? I mean, being psychic type means it resists fighting, for one, which makes sense. Let me go back a little bit. So that it has more. And 2 of the 3 are why not in Wobbuffet? Is it a game balancing thing? Maybe so that it has more weaknesses than if it were a normal type? But do those weaknesses make sense? I mean, being psychic type means it resists fighting, for one, which makes sense since it's a punch bag. It can take punches for days and not really have any issue. But it's also weak to dark because when being hit by an evil sideswipe or something, it can't fight back as well because it bounces back in a different direction. It also can't fight back against ghosts as easily because it phases through them and like,
I guess. Then what about
it's weak to bugs because they're too small to bounce back and hit. Bugs just dodge it. Those are all dumb. Now if it were normal, it'd be weak to fighting, which, given my previous explanation,
that wouldn't make
much sense. But if you think about it more, fighting type Pokemon would be masters at beating up punching bags because of all their training against punching bags. You know how many punching bags this Pokemon probably go through. But Champ can launch things clear across the horizon and punch thousands of times per second. How many punching bags do they go through? Plus, all that punching bag training means when they punch the punching bag, they know exactly how to dodge it when it bounces back like Wobbuffet because there's plenty of punching bags that actually do that. They would be masters against a Wobbuffet. And then being immune to Ghost makes sense too, because like, if a Ghost tries to hit a punching bag, like they just phase through it because a punching bag is just normal. It's just a thing.
It should be a normal type Pokemon.
So you can't really counter that.
It should be a normal type Pokemon.
So again, I think normal makes so much more sense.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
At least a lot more than psychic, unless you take into account an old theory of mine that there's a link to right here. More plugs, but
this
long
man has
story
6
short,
plugs.
leaving out the fine details, why not is secretly an unknown.
I might actually what? I was gonna say I might watch that Secret of Wobbuffet, but he just mentioned some crazy theory.
Long story short, leaving out the fine details, why not is secretly an unknown gone rogue.
Oh, that tail right there?
All of this typing nonsense only backs up that theory even more. The rest of the evidence is in that video.
The true deep secret.
So, now then, that's all of the psychic type.
That brother should not be psychic type.
The masters of mental manipulation have been explained. What type should I cover next? Let me know down below. Please consider supporting this channel on Patreon. And until next time, never stop using your noggin.
I will say, this might be my favorite one, because I like how for the actual psychic type...
Of every type...
Hey, wait. Fire type. Ooh, later. Let's go back a little bit. So what I was trying to say is, I think this might be my favorite one, because I like how, for the Pokemon that, were psychic types, that, had reasons to be psychic types, I like the reasoning behind what Gnoggin was saying. Something based off, like, a mythology or some characters, or maybe just things that use psychic stuff in the real world, something like that. Or high IQ, or creations of Arceus, or creation of Arceus. I like that. I was like, oh, what? Wait a minute, huh? I'm using my noggin. That's interesting. Okay, I like the connection you're making with this. Do psychic types Pokemon? I think I asked this before, but do psychic types Pokemon have like the most Pokemon in that category? Like, is there like a lot of psychic type Pokemon compared to, you know, other Pokemon? 'Cause I know there's more than like what Fairy, because that's kind of like not new, but it's the newest typing out there. Probably more than Fairy, probably more than, you know, Steel, Ground, most likely. Because it feels like there's way more Psychics out there. Even though they don't look like they're psychic, there's way more psychic Pokemon out there. I'm curious, but no, this is really good. This is really good and informative. I like this. Yeah, everything makes sense here. Except for the Pokemon that don't make sense being a psychic type. Yeah. Everything else makes sense for the most part. I think there were a couple I'm like, nah, I don't agree with that reason. I do not agree with that reason at all. It's like the golf Pokemon, I'm like, nah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. But yeah, this is good. This is good. Good job, Lockstin and Gnoggin. Good stuff. Alright, I'm gonna head out of here now. Got a couple more things I want to check out. Will I get this upload before Thanksgiving or during Thanksgiving? Probably not, because I gotta go eat with my family, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, hope you enjoyed my reaction, and thank you for watching. My cup of tea is out of here. Hasta luego. Wobbuffet, that luminous. Also, the unknown ones, that was like, I'm like, whoa, mine, kapow. What do you say about these unknowns? They're like, what? They have that much power? They're just like, they're that like vital? I gotta see a video on that. That's crazy. That blew my mind for a second. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought they were just always glitches in the system or something like that. Like they were just like not accidental Pokemon, but there was accidents. They weren't even that crazy. That's wild. Okay. Pokemon is crazy. Pokemon is crazy.